Good morning, and this is quite a unique panel, and congratulations with your 2 awards yesterday evening.
Thank you, thank you.
That's really excellent. So we're going to have a chat about digital health and the convergence of health and IT and technology. Now, before I start, I wanted to see some hands in the audience. Whom of you has made any investments in digital health companies? Anyone? Yeah, a couple. Great. Whom of you have any unicorns in your portfolio that are valued, still private, but valued above 1 billion? Okay, I see one there. Anyone has a digital health unicorn investment? Hey, exactly. Which is another reason why this is a great panel, because we have both Novartis and Qualcomm who have one and several unicorn digital health investments, which is quite unique as there aren't that many out there. And Novartis has one with Proteus Digital Health, and then Jack, you have Fitbit, which is going to IPO, and I think Practice Fusion as well, and maybe some others that I overlooked. So, quick introduction about myself. My name is Marc Sluijs. I'm actively involved in fostering the digital health investment ecosystem in Europe. And one of the projects I'm involved with is the HealthTech Summit, which you see behind me. So quick product pitch will take place June 30, July 1 in Lausanne, Switzerland. We'll have 40 of the most interesting medtech and digital health companies in Europe that will present to an audience of investors and life science executives. And this year we've seen a lot of interest in the digital health team. We received more applications from digital health companies than from medtech companies. And you can also see from the names behind me, these are investors that were involved in the selection committee for digital health. So you see this is a pretty broad coverage of the ecosystem, ranging from large US investors to a number of corporates and also some of the earlier stage accelerators in the ecosystem. Going to my panel, as both of you also wear several hats in your organizations, I'd like to ask you to maybe do a very quick intro about yourself, your background, and specifically your focus on digital health.
So, Marc Ceulemans, and basically we have a few activities in Novartis. So we have the traditional Novartis Venture Fund. We have collaborations that are typically on biotech or compounds that we also invest in VC space. And then since January, we put up DrX Capital together with Qualcomm, where we are exploring digital health. So we do have several areas that we work on, but digital health definitely is our latest one, and also probably one of the most exciting ones for us.
Thanks, Marc. I'm Jack Young from Qualcomm Ventures, as well as from DrX Capital. Qualcomm Ventures, a $1 billion investment arm from Qualcomm. And I've been with Qualcomm about 8 years and started about 7.5 years ago in digital health. Specifically at Qualcomm, I'm managing a fund called Qualcomm Life Fund, which have completed 12 investments, and we have a couple exits this quarter, so we're happy to report that. And then since January, I've been dedicating much of my efforts into the second fund, which is the digital health fund, together with Novartis.
Great. Yeah, maybe I would like to ask you to maybe expand a little bit on the purpose and the targets of the DRX fund. How do you prioritize between the slightly different areas of focus between Qualcomm and Novartis?
Yeah, maybe I'll let Marc talk about how actually Marc was the person in Novartis first conceived that notion. So I'll let him talk about that, and then maybe I can talk a little bit. The team has been working together for the last 6 months, so we come out with about a number of themes I'll be happy to share with the audience.
Yeah, let's say the whole idea, to go back to the history, is last year we did several investments in the space. We were trying to look for new applications, new users for our development, because we're doing many things actually still the old-fashioned way with paper. But then we realized, look, this is interesting space, but we're not really the company equipped for basically dealing with digital health. And for example, engineering skills and all that we do not have. We have a lot of other skills, but not this. So then we said, okay, fine. By working together with Qualcomm, we can basically combine the best efforts or resources from both organizations to make investments where we see a fit eventually for us, Novartis. And it doesn't have to be like a direct fit, but it can help also promoting our drugs in a way or be used in combination with our drugs. And that we then use basically also Qualcomm, who has this huge network competence that we can also benefit from there.
Yeah, like Marc said, Qualcomm's been involved with health over a decade. And I mentioned 2011, we launched this fund, Qualcomm Life Fund, to be, I actually came from Silicon Valley, so healthcare is new to me until 7.5 years ago. So while we made a great progress in making investments, and luckily we picked some early winners, but I have to say, from a technology perspective, there's so many unknown, right? As much as you can learn, it doesn't come native. So when Novartis started to work with Qualcomm, especially at the stage, if you look at the evolution of digital health, many of these companies starting with a consumer health, obviously the early success also comes from a consumer health, but as it evolves, it becomes more and more clinical, right? So I think now people are coining this term digital medicine versus digital health. And even to me, it was a little bit vague until somebody actually, it was an article a couple of days ago, pointed out the sort of differences between the two, where they said consumer health consider wellness or fitness, all the things encompass, right? But what digital medicine is taken a notch higher, so there has to be clinical validated and has a direct impact to life, right? Versus digital health could be a lots of many things. So I think the collaborative with Novartis is essentially taking towards that direction. Novartis being a industry leader, really have built a lot of these clinical and health deep knowledge. On Qualcomm, obviously, we have a lots of knowledge about how to build engineering product consumer friendly. By the combined two together, I think we're going to yield some very interesting investments.
But I see a potential market for buyers, all the contract research and development organizations that work with big pharma. They see the direct benefit because they're going to be closer to the patient than we are.
Yeah.
So that's probably also what the new on the M&A front will be.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, I see we're running out of time. Last question, coming back to what Arvind from Intel yesterday evening said, so that you guys have potentially a unique advantage versus traditional VCs. I mean, how would you quickly summarize that notion for in the context of DRX?
Yeah, I mean, it speaks itself. We have the leading player in each representing industry, right? Qualcomm's being a power force in consumer smartphone, Novartis years of history and pharmaceutical companies. So we have unparalleled knowledge to tap into from these two big companies. Just imagine how many patents, how many PhDs that we have. So when we put the two together and really think through not only in early stage to validate the concept, but to taking forward, Novartis is a platform, Qualcomm is a platform. We can help these companies to continue developing their company through coaching, even offer them a commercial opportunities. So I think that if for any company that using a capital from a DRX will benefit from those multiple factors, and obviously not to discount the financial VCs, we're actually working with them very closely, right? If you look at a history of Qualcomm Ventures, we co-invested just about every big names in Silicon Valley. We'll continue to do that. So I think we're going to work together. Obviously, financial VCs has lots of disciplines in managing the company, et cetera. So we kind of rely on each other to manage the company. We mostly contribute on the business side and rely on the financial ventures to be disciplined to run the startup lean and mean.
I think to add on the comment is, to say at Novartis, we are a large corporation, we have a lot of resources, and I imagine that we're good positioned to know what the customer or the patient needs are. So if you combine that with Qualcomm's expertise, I don't think it's easy to replicate that by an industry VC or standard VC or doing it as a standalone unit. So I think this is the best of both worlds, and it should be like the 1 + 1 makes 3, I think, equation.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well,
Thank
look
you.
forward to seeing.
So DrX Capital, drxcapital.com, and we do have a handle on Twitter as well. So follow us.
Thanks.